Okay, so the biggest challenge that I find with working with my clients when they decide to go to a cloud-based system is how to successfully implement it. So I've learned a lot of lessons between myself implementing it, I did it 3 years ago, and now working with a lot of my business clients, coaching clients on how to implement it. So here's the lessons that I've learned. First is be selective. You know, don't think that you have to use all of those modules that I showed you before. If you have a lead tracking or a CRM program or like an estimating program that you like, stick with it. Don't get rid of it. Just keep using it. I mean, ultimately you may switch over, but don't do it initially. Next is take it in steps. The biggest mistake that I find with builders is they try to just do everything at once. They'll say, okay, as of February 1st, we're going to go completely in the cloud. That's just a recipe for disaster. You can't do that. What I recommend, how I recommend doing it, is you do it in steps and you introduce it to your customers first, figure that all out, then introduce it to your company, and lastly, introduce it to your subs. And I'll go into more detail about that in a minute. So one bit of warning here, don't try to use the cloud-based system for all email correspondence. Now, I know some programs want you to do that. They want you to send and receive every email through that program. But I find it's very hard to get all of the parties to play along with that. And the system breaks down when one person sends an email and it's not part of the cloud-based system. So let me tell you how I use emails within my cloud-based system. So each of my projects has a unique email address that's linked to my cloud-based system. So anytime I'm sending an email to my homeowner where it's an important email and I'm either confirming a decision or asking them for an important question, all in the CC line, I'll put in that cloud-based email address. So that way it'll go to the cloud. And then when they reply, it'll also go back into the cloud. So any important key decisions are all documented in the cloud. Now, if they send something to me and it's not in there, what I'll do is I'll just forward it to that email address so it's in the cloud. So by the end of the job, I have all of that important correspondence. I don't have 5,000 emails. I may have whatever, 200, but they're just the most important ones related to those decisions. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more detail about how we implement this. So for clients, really, this is all I use for my clients, are those 4 modules. So I think you start with introducing it to your clients for 2 reasons. The first is you're going to get the most bang for your buck. One of the best things about a cloud-based system, it is a great marketing tool. And once you get this going with your clients, they are going to love it so much that they're going to be raving about it. And that's the whole point of this presentation, right? Building happy homeowners. So they're going to be a happy homeowner. They're going to give you lots of referrals. You'll get a lot of business out of it. So the other reason why I say to start with the clients is these are very easy to implement. You can basically have one person taking photos of the jobs, uploading documents, posting daily logs, and updating schedules. So there's a builder in San Diego. He's actually hired me to do this for him. And I handle all of this for his clients. He doesn't even know how to use the system at all. No one in his company knows how to use it except for me. Yet his clients get all of the benefits. He only uses it for his out-of-town clients. And he's a luxury condo builder. So, but I go in as the owner's rep and I do all of this and I work with the homeowner on it, and he's just getting the best reviews from his clients because they absolutely love it. But it's really simple to do. Okay, one bit of caution here is be careful when you start to implement the finish selections with your clients. I've found that that can be a difficult process. You've got to make sure that not only the client but their interior designer knows how to use that finish selections program. Because it can be very frustrating and intimidating if they're always getting these emails saying, hey, you missed this deadline. Okay, so next, after you've got your clients into the system, then introduce it to your company. You know, you'll already have created a buzz among your employees when they're talking to your clients and they're going, God, we love this cloud-based system. So now they'll be more motivated to implement it themselves. You know, if you just try to go to your bookkeeper and say, hey, this is how we're going to do all the billing, they're like, why? I mean, you were trying to make my life harder. But if they have talked to a couple of their clients and they're talking about, God, we love this cloud-based system, they'll be more motivated to do it. So it takes 2 parts to implement it within the company. The first is with the bookkeeping staff, like I said, your accounting staff. So it's invoices, payments, change orders, and budgets. And then the second is with your crew that's out at your jobs, right? And that's time cards, punch lists, to-do lists, daily construction logs. Now, some of these programs, they have this kind of internal communication where you can post comments or things like that. I find that's very hard as well because people aren't checking it all the time. I think it's just better just to use text messages and emails for that. Okay, so third is the subs. The subs are the most difficult people to get into a cloud-based system. And several of my clients, they've tried, and then they say, oh, you know what, I just gave up on the cloud-based system because we couldn't get our subs to do it. And we tried with the subs and it didn't work. And I say, well, that's the last people that you get on. Now, how you motivate subs, it's kind of like your own employees. You get them to see how much easier it's going to make their job, how much more quickly they can get change orders approved, how much more quickly they can get paid with online payment systems. They call you and they say, hey, where's my check? And you say, oh, I did an electronic transfer in the online system. His money's already in your account. They're like, wow, that's great. So remember the job with the gas line in Dr. A. So typically what you do, if that happened, you tell the plumber, okay, you know what, go home, send me a change order, and when I get an approval, I'll get you back out to the job site. So instead what I did, I told my plumber, I said, Jim, text me a couple pictures and your price and a little details of it. And then I took it, I prepared the change order on my phone, and I sent it off to Dr. A in the cloud-based system. So when Dr. A got out of surgery, he could pull up the change order on his phone, look at the change order, and actually physically sign that change order on his phone. So then I had sent Jim to lunch because I was hoping I could try to pull this off, and it fortunately worked out because the doctor was just getting out of surgery. So then I called Jim up, and I'm like, I got a signed change order right here. Come back to the job and finish it out today. So he was blown away. And then they're much more willing to work on the other parts of the cloud-based system that you want them to, like for preparing bids, documenting punch lists, and warranty items. Okay, so one of the best benefits of a cloud-based system is it's so great for creating a project closeout package, right? You've got one central place where you can have every document that's related to the project. So this is great for both the homeowners and for the builders. So for the builders, it's great, again, for that construction risk management, right? You have one place where everything is kept. Remember I talked about the paperless office? Well, now I don't have file boxes filled with papers at the end of a project that I've got to go and file somewhere. Everything is stored up in the cloud. Now, for homeowners, the great thing for them is, again, they've got this really comprehensive documentation, and it's a great marketing tool. I've heard people talk about, building a closing out package and using that as a marketing tool. So when you show up and you show your homeowners, hey, these are all the documents. At the end of this job, you're going to have all of this stuff available. Now, all of these documents are available on the cloud for as long as you have that program. But if the homeowner says, I want to have this stuff, I don't want to trust in the cloud, you can just download all of this stuff onto a thumb drive. And they can keep it on their computer, you can keep it on yours, and you've got a permanent record of all of this information. Okay, so let's quickly go over the keys to effective communication that we just talked about. First is choosing the right form, which of those 5, based on speed and content. Second is get it in writing, right? Document everything. Third is don't be like your competition that's slow to adopt technology. And lastly, implement a cloud-based system and use my tips on how to effectively implement it.